We rarely admit it, but envy touches nearly every one of us. It lingers in the background when you scroll through social media. When you hear about a friend's success, when you look at someone else's life and feel that quiet sting inside, you tell yourself it's nothing. You brush it off. But deep down, you know the truth. Envy isn't just a fleeting emotion. It's a slow, corrosive force that quietly reshapes how you see yourself, how you see others, and how you move through the world. And if left unchecked, envy silently destroys you from within. Carl Jung, the great thinker of the unconscious, believed that envy is one of the most dangerous and underestimated emotions. Unlike anger or jealousy, envy often hides itself. It disguises as indifference, as criticism, as resentment, as superiority. You may not even realize it's there, but it is. And the more it grows, the more it traps you in cycles of comparison, dissatisfaction, and self-betrayal. To understand why envy is so destructive, we must first understand what it really is. Envy isn't just wanting what someone else has. It's the pain you feel because they have it and you don't. It's not just admiring beauty, wealth, love, or talent. It's feeling diminished by their existence. Envy is the voice in your head that whispers, "You're not enough. You'll never have what they have. And because of that, you are less." This voice is subtle, but it's powerful. Jung taught that the unconscious mind shapes our outer reality in ways we can't fully see. If you carry envy inside, it will begin to shape your choices, your relationships, and your sense of purpose. You may find yourself pulling away from people you admire, criticizing those you secretly look up to, or sabotaging your own progress because you cannot bear the idea of competing. Envy closes doors, not because the world blocks you, but because you block yourself. The first sign that envy is silently destroying you is chronic dissatisfaction. No matter what you achieve, it never feels like enough. You get the promotion, but you immediately compare yourself to someone higher up. You reach a goal, but you minimize it because someone else did it better, faster, or with more praise. This isn't ambition, it's self-poisoning. Ambition drives you forward with purpose. Envy traps you in a cycle where nothing satisfies. The second sign is resentment toward others' success. You might tell yourself you're happy for them, but deep down, there's a bitterness you can't shake. You may find yourself criticizing people who achieve what you desire, telling yourself they got lucky, they cheated, or they're not as deserving as they appear. This bitterness isolates you. It makes it harder to build genuine connections, harder to learn from those who have walked ahead, and harder to celebrate your own unique path. The third sign is avoidance of challenge. When envy grows inside you, it can paralyze you. You may avoid pursuing your dreams, not because you don't want them, but because you fear that even if you try, you will still fall short. You look at others' success and tell yourself it's impossible, that you're already too far behind. This avoidance becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. By not trying, you ensure you never rise. Jung believed that the shadow, the hidden unconscious part of ourselves, holds not only our fears and wounds, but also our potential. Envy thrives in the shadow because we refuse to face it honestly. We deny its presence, we project it onto others, we pretend we are above it. But the truth is, envy is universal. It's part of the human condition. The question is not whether you feel it. The question is whether you recognize it, and whether you are willing to transform it. Transformation begins with awareness. When you notice envy arising, pause. Don't judge it. Don't push it away. Observe it. Ask yourself, what does this feeling reveal about my own unmet desires? What part of myself am I neglecting, suppressing, or devaluing? Jung taught that emotions are messengers. Envy is not here to punish you. It's here to wake you up to the parts of your life where you feel powerless or disconnected. Instead of focusing on what others have, turn inward. What dreams have you buried? What skills or talents have you left unused? What aspects of your life feel out of alignment? Envy can become a guide, pointing you toward the places where you need to reclaim your power. But this requires courage. It requires you to stop blaming the outside world and start engaging with your own path. Another crucial step is shifting from comparison to inspiration. Instead of seeing others' success as a threat, see it as proof of possibility. If someone else has achieved something meaningful, it means it's achievable, not just by them, but by anyone willing to walk the path. Jung believed that we are all connected through the collective unconscious. The victories of one soul echo through the whole of humanity. When you celebrate others, you open yourself to join that flow. Finally, practice gratitude. Envy thrives on scarcity, the belief that there is not enough love, success, or happiness to go around. Gratitude reminds you that your life is already rich, that you already possess gifts and opportunities, and that the universe is abundant. By focusing on what you have, you reduce the grip of envy and open yourself to growth. Envy is a silent destroyer, but it is also a teacher. It reveals where you are out of alignment, where you are living small, where you are called to rise. The key is to face it, to bring it out of the shadows, and to let it guide you toward wholeness. This is not easy work, but it is the work of becoming who you were meant to be. The deeper we explore envy, the more we realize it is not merely an emotion. It's a pattern, a lens through which we interpret the world. Carl Jung would remind us that envy does not stay contained inside. It leaks into how we see reality. We project it onto others, onto situations, onto life itself. And the danger is this: the more we deny it, the more power it gains. Imagine living under the quiet influence of envy without recognizing it. You begin to filter your experiences through scarcity. You notice only what you lack, not what you have. You judge your worth by external measures. Who is ahead? Who is behind? Who is winning? Who is losing? Without realizing it, you lose connection to your own authentic desires. You stop asking, what do I truly want? What is meaningful to me? And instead, you chase after what others have, even if it was never meant for you. This is one of envy's most subtle signs: misalignment. You set goals not because they reflect your deepest longings, but because they match the achievements of those around you. You tell yourself you want success, but whose definition of success are you chasing? Jung believed that individuation, the process of becoming one's true self, requires stripping away these borrowed identities. Until you face envy, you cannot know which dreams are yours and which are mere shadows of someone else's path. Another hidden sign of envy's grip is constant comparison. You measure yourself against others in every area: relationships, career, appearance, lifestyle, even spirituality. You look outward, seeking evidence of your worth. But comparison is a trap. There will always be someone ahead, just as there will always be someone behind. The problem is not that others are succeeding. The problem is that you believe their success diminishes you. This belief isolates you from your own potential. Carl Jung taught that the unconscious seeks wholeness, not competition. But when envy dominates, we fragment ourselves. We split into parts: the part that craves, the part that resents, the part that despairs. Instead of integrating these parts, we push them into the shadow, pretending we are unaffected. But the psyche is never fooled. What you refuse to face will shape you from the shadows, influencing your behavior, your choices, your emotions. The next sign of envy's destructive power is sabotage. This can take many forms: procrastination, self-doubt, perfectionism, avoidance. On the surface, it may look like laziness or fear, but at its core, it's often envy. Why? Because envy whispers, "Why bother? You'll never be as good as them anyway." It convinces you that effort is pointless, that success is reserved for others, that you are destined to fall short. And so you hold yourself back, not because you lack ability, but because you have internalized defeat. Jung believed that the antidote to shadow forces like envy is consciousness. You cannot fight what you refuse to name. Once you recognize envy, you gain a choice. You can let it continue shaping you unconsciously, or you can bring it into the light and examine its message. Envy often reveals your buried potential, the parts of yourself you have neglected or denied. When you feel the sting of envy, ask, what desire is hiding here? What part of me is longing to be expressed? For example, if you envy someone's creativity, perhaps it's because your own creative energy is suppressed. If you envy someone's freedom, perhaps you have confined yourself in routines that no longer serve you. If you envy someone's confidence, perhaps you have abandoned your own voice. Envy points to where you have abandoned yourself, and this is where the healing begins. Another key sign of envy is emotional exhaustion. Living under its influence drains you because you are constantly performing, pretending, competing, and comparing. You exhaust yourself trying to match an image, a standard, a life that was never meant to be yours. You lose touch with joy, with gratitude, with presence. Jung would remind us that when we stray too far from our authentic path, the psyche sends signals: anxiety, depression, burnout. These are not failures. They are warnings. They tell you to return to yourself. So how do we transform envy? First, through radical honesty. Admit that you feel it. Admit that it hurts. Admit that you are not immune. This is not weakness. This is courage. Jung taught that transformation begins when we face the shadow with compassion, not judgment. You are not bad for feeling envy. You are human. What matters is what you do with it. Second, cultivate self-awareness. Notice the moments when envy arises. Who triggers it? What situations awaken it? What stories do you tell yourself in those moments? Awareness gives you space. Space to choose a different response. Space to question the old narrative. Third, practice differentiation. Jung emphasized the importance of individuation, separating your own identity from collective expectations. Ask yourself, what do I truly want? What brings me alive? What matters to me, regardless of what others are doing? The more you align with your own authentic path, the less power envy holds over you. Finally, nurture connection. Envy isolates, but connection heals. When you share your struggles with trusted others, when you celebrate their victories without diminishing your own, you break envy's grip. You remember that we are not here to compete, but to walk each other home. Envy has a strange, paradoxical nature. On the surface, it looks outward. It's about others, about what they have, about what you lack. But at its core, envy is a mirror reflecting back the relationship you have with yourself. It reveals the fractures, the insecurities, the unlived desires inside you. Carl Jung believed that these fractures are where the light enters, if you dare to look. One of the most painful signs that envy is silently destroying you is disconnection from your own gifts. You become so focused on what others are doing that you stop nurturing your own potential. You abandon the projects, the passions, the dreams that once mattered to you because you convince yourself they're insignificant compared to someone else's achievements. This is one of envy's cruelest tricks. It steals your energy from the very things that could bring you fulfillment. Another sign is loss of self-trust. When envy takes root, you begin to doubt your own path. You second-guess your decisions, your timing, your direction. You wonder if you've wasted time, if you should have taken another route, if you're forever behind. But here's the truth. No two paths are the same. Jung reminds us that each soul has its own journey, shaped by its own rhythms and needs. When you measure your life by someone else's milestones, you betray your own soul. Perhaps the most heartbreaking sign of all is the erosion of joy. Envy numbs you to the beauty of your own life. You stop noticing the simple pleasures, the laughter of a friend, the satisfaction of a small win, the peace of a quiet morning. Instead, you live in a state of restless longing, always looking outward, always feeling that something essential is missing. But the thing you're missing is not out there. It's inside you, waiting to be reclaimed. So how do you begin to heal? Jung would tell you that the first step is integration. You cannot cut envy out of yourself like a disease. You must integrate it, understand it, accept it, and allow it to transform you. This means looking at the deeper message behind the emotion. What does your envy reveal about your unlived life? What parts of yourself have you exiled because you believed they were unworthy or impossible? Next, you must reclaim responsibility for your own journey. Envy thrives on blame. It tells you that others are the reason for your dissatisfaction. But the truth is, your path is yours alone. Others' success does not block your potential. There is no limited supply of fulfillment, meaning, or love. Jung's idea of the collective unconscious reminds us that we are all part of a larger web of existence. The victories of one are shared, not stolen. It's also essential to cultivate self-compassion. Envy often triggers shame. You feel bad for feeling envious, which only deepens your isolation. But shame keeps you stuck. Compassion frees you. When you acknowledge your envy without judgment, you create space for growth. You remind yourself that you are human, that you are learning, that you are allowed to have complex, difficult emotions without being defined by them. One powerful practice is to transform envy into admiration. Instead of resenting those who embody qualities you desire, let them inspire you. What can you learn from them? What do they awaken in you? Jung believed that projections, the qualities we see and react to in others, are often reflections of parts of ourselves we have not yet owned. When you admire someone's strength, creativity, or confidence, it may be a sign that these qualities are waiting to be developed within you. Another healing step is gratitude. Gratitude softens envy because it shifts your focus from what you lack to what you have. It reconnects you to the abundance in your own life. This doesn't mean ignoring your desires or pretending everything is perfect. It means recognizing that you are already on a meaningful journey, with gifts and opportunities uniquely your own. Gratitude reminds you that you are not empty. You are evolving. Finally, embrace your own pace. Jung emphasized the importance of individuation, becoming the person you were meant to be, not the person others expect you to be. This journey unfolds in its own time, shaped by your own experiences, lessons, and needs. When you surrender to your own rhythm, you release the pressure to compare. You realize that your timeline is not broken, it's simply yours. As we close this reflection, remember this: envy is not your enemy. It is a signal, a messenger, a mirror. It shows you where you long to grow, where you are called to awaken, where you have abandoned yourself. It invites you to turn inward, to reclaim your power, and to walk your own path with integrity and courage. You are not here to compete. You are here to become. And the more you honor your unique path, the more you free yourself from the silent chains of envy. You begin to celebrate not just others' journeys, but your own. You begin to live with depth, with presence, with joy. Thank you for walking this path, for facing the difficult truths, for daring to grow. If this message resonates with you, consider subscribing for more reflections on Carl Jung, shadow work, and the deep patterns shaping our lives. Share your thoughts in the comments. Your story may offer comfort and insight to someone else who is navigating the same challenges. And if you found value here, a like or share helps this message reach others who need it. Remember, envy loses its power when you reclaim your own. The life you long for is not out there. It is waiting inside you, ready to unfold.